AI panic is everywhere. But what's actually real? Have you noticed how every week there seems to be a new headline about artificial intelligence? One day it's going to take every job, the next day it's going to write every movie, replace every teacher, outsmart every office worker, crash the economy, ruin the internet, or somehow become your boss before lunch. And then, right underneath those headlines, there's usually another video telling you the opposite. AI is going to make everyone rich. AI is going to give you a business overnight. AI is going to do all your work, answer all your emails, build your website, make your videos, manage your schedule, and turn your laptop into a money machine while you sleep. So, which is it? Is AI the end of work? Is it the biggest opportunity we've ever seen? Or are we all just stuck in the middle of a very loud panic cycle? That's what we're talking about today. Because the strange thing about AI is not just that it's powerful, the strange thing is that almost nobody seems calm when they talk about it. One side acts like the machines are already marching down the street. The other side acts like anyone who doesn't use AI by tomorrow morning is doomed to be left behind forever. And normal people are sitting there thinking, okay, but what am I actually supposed to do with this? That's the real problem. Not the technology by itself, but the confusion around it. Because when people are confused, they either ignore something they should understand, or they panic about something they could actually learn to use, and both reactions can hurt you. So, let's slow this down. Let's take the fear seriously, without letting the fear drive the car, because some of the concern around AI is real. It really is changing work. It is changing how companies think about hiring. It's changing how writing, design, customer service, coding, scheduling, estimating, marketing, research, training, and everyday business tasks get done. That part isn't imaginary. If you work in an office, run a small business, manage projects, create content, teach, estimate jobs, write reports, answer emails, or deal with repetitive paperwork, AI is probably going to touch some part of your world. Maybe it already has. But here's where the panic gets a little bit messy. People hear, I can do part of my job. And their brain jumps straight to, AI is going to take my whole job. And sometimes that might be true in certain roles, but a lot of the time, the more realistic story is different. AI doesn't always replace the person. It often replaces the most repetitive part of what that person does. Now, that may sound like a small difference, but it's not small, it's huge. Think about the person who spends 2 hours every night turning rough notes into emails, summaries, reports, or follow-up messages. AI may not replace that person, but it can absolutely change that part of the job. It can help turn messy notes into cleaner drafts. It can help organize a punch list. It can help explain a complicated topic in plain English. It can help summarize a long document. It can help you start something when your brain is tired and you're staring at a blank screen. That's not science fiction. That's already here. But it's also not magic. And that's the second thing people get wrong. AI is powerful, but it is not automatically wise. It can sound confident and still be wrong. It can give you a beautiful answer that has one hidden problem inside it. It can summarize something too aggressively. It can misunderstand what matters. It can make a bad assumption. It can make your work faster, but if you stop checking it, it can also help you make mistakes faster. That's why the smartest people using AI are not treating it like a replacement brain. They're treating it like a very fast assistant that still needs supervision, and that's a much calmer way to look at it. Not AI is coming for me, the sky is falling. Not AI will do everything for me. It's more like, AI can help me move faster, but I still need to know what good work looks like. That one sentence might be the difference between panic and progress, because the real advantage is not just using AI. The real advantage is knowing when AI is useful, when it's wrong, and when you need a human being to make the final call. That makes a huge difference in business across all industries. Think about healthcare, education, finance. You name it. It matters anywhere the answer has consequences. If AI helps write a casual email, the risk is usually pretty small. If AI helps review a contract, estimate a job, analyze a medical form, prepare tax information, inspect a safety plan, or make a financial decision, now the stakes are different. That's where calm thinking matters. Because AI can help, but it sure doesn't remove responsibility. Actually, the responsibility is where a lot of the panic comes from. People aren't afraid of the tool. Not really. They're afraid of not knowing where the tool belongs. They're afraid their company will use it badly. They're afraid schools won't know how to handle it. They're afraid their kids will rely on it too much. They're afraid their job will change before they have time to catch up. They're afraid they'll be judged for not already understanding it. And those fears are understandable. Nobody wants to feel like the world changed overnight and forgot to leave them instructions. But the answer is not to freeze. And it's not to believe every dramatic headline either. The answer is to learn enough to separate three things: what's real, what's exaggerated, and what you can actually do next. So, what's real? Well, in case you hadn't noticed, which of course you have, AI is already useful for everyday work. It can draft, summarize, organize, brainstorm, compare, explain, translate, clean up messy writing, generate images, help with spreadsheets, assist with coding, create outlines, and speed up a lot of admin work. That's real stuff right there. AI is also already changing expectations, and this is interesting. In some workplaces, people who use AI may start moving faster than people who don't. Not because they're smarter, but because they're using a tool that helps remove some of the friction. That is real too. And yes, some jobs will be affected more than others. Jobs built mostly around repeatable digital tasks are more exposed than jobs that require physical presence, judgment in messy real-world conditions, trust, relationships, hands-on skill, leadership, or accountability. That doesn't mean hands-on workers are untouched. It means the change may show up differently. A superintendent may not be replaced by AI, but the superintendent who knows how to use AI to organize meeting notes, draft RFIs, review schedules, prepare updates, or catch communication gaps may become much more effective. A small business owner may not be replaced by AI, but the owner who uses AI to write better emails, improve customer follow-up, build simple systems, and understand their numbers may have an edge. A creator may not be replaced by AI, but the creator who uses AI to brainstorm, research, polish scripts, and speed up production may get more done with less stress. That's the useful version of this conversation, not panic, practical advantage. Now what's exaggerated? The idea that AI can just do everything perfectly, that's exaggerated. The idea that everyone will be replaced at once, that's exaggerated. The idea that you need to master every tool immediately or you're finished, that's exaggerated too. You don't need to know every AI platform. You don't need to chase every update. You don't need to become a computer scientist. You don't need to turn your life into one giant software experiment. Most people need a much simpler starting point. Pick one annoying task. 1. Something you already do that wastes time, drains energy, or keeps following you home. Maybe it's emails. Maybe it's meeting notes. Maybe it's organizing job updates. Maybe it's writing descriptions. Maybe it's comparing options. Maybe it's taking a messy thought and turning it into something clear. Start there. Use AI on that one single thing, then check the result. Fix it. Learn what it got right. Learn what it got wrong. That's how you build confidence. Not by trying to become an AI expert in a weekend, by learning where it helps in your real life. And that brings us to the part nobody wants to say out loud. A lot of AI panic is really skill panic. People aren't only worried that AI is getting better, they're worried that they're falling behind. And that feeling is heavy, especially if you're already busy. Especially if you're working long days. Especially if you're not someone who enjoys technology. Especially if every video online makes it sound like you should have started 6 months ago. But here's the truth. You are not too late. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to use AI for everything. In fact, don't. Keep your brain healthy and active. You just need to start understanding AI well enough that other people's panic doesn't control your decisions. That's the calmer path. Because AI is not one thing. It's not one monster. It's not one miracle. It's a growing group of tools. Some are useful. Some are overhyped. Some are dangerous when used carelessly. Some are amazing when used wisely. And some are honestly just not worth your time. The skill is learning the difference. That's why the best question is not, will AI take over? The better question is, where does AI actually help, and where does a human still need to lead? Because humans still need to lead in a lot of places. Judgment, taste, ethics, responsibility, trust, real-world experience. Knowing when something feels off. Knowing when the answer sounds good but doesn't match the job. Knowing when a customer needs empathy, not automation. Knowing when a plan works on paper but not in the field. Knowing when the cheapest answer is not the safest answer. AI can assist with information, but humans still carry the consequences. That's not a small thing. That's the center of the whole conversation. And it's why panic is such a terrible teacher. Panic makes everything feel bigger, faster, and more hopeless than it really is. But clarity gives you options. When you understand what AI can actually do, you can use it. When you understand what AI cannot do, you can protect yourself. When you understand the difference, you stop being pushed around by every headline. That's where Build Smarter lives. Not in pretending AI is harmless, not in pretending AI is magic, but in looking at the tool clearly enough to ask better questions. Can this save time? Can this reduce busy work? Can this help me explain something better? Can this help me organize my thinking? Can this help my business run smoother? Can this help a worker learn something faster? Can this help a contractor get home earlier? Can this help a normal person feel less overwhelmed? Those are good questions. In fact, they're excellent questions. But so are these. What did it miss? What did it assume? Where could this be wrong? Does this need a professional? Does this need a human check? Would I trust this answer if money, safety, health, or someone's livelihood depended on it? That's the balance. Use the tool. Keep your brain engaged. Let AI help with the mess, but don't hand it the steering wheel. Because the future probably won't belong to people who panic the loudest, and it probably won't belong to people who blindly trust every new tool either. It will belong to people who stay curious, keep learning, and know how to slow down long enough to think. So, when you see the next headline saying AI is coming for everything, pause, ask what's actually real. When you see the next video promising AI will make you rich overnight, pause, ask what's actually real. When someone tells you you're already behind, pause, ask what's actually real. Because that question is powerful. It cuts through hype, it cuts through fear, it gives you room to think, and once you have room to think, you can make better choices. That's the whole point. AI is real. The change is real. Some of the risk is real, but the panic doesn't have to run your life. You can learn this one step at a time. You can test small tools on small tasks. You can keep what helps and ignore what doesn't. You can use your own brain first. Then use AI when you need help organizing, drafting, comparing, or getting unstuck. You don't have to worship the technology. You don't have to run from it either. You just have to understand it well enough to use it wisely. And that's how we should end this conversation, not in fear, in clarity. Because the goal is not to panic smarter, the goal is to build smarter.